Hi everybody, welcome to Lord of the Reads. In today's video, we're going to be doing my March round of TBingoR. I really liked January and February. It's really fun to be able to pick my TBR over the game, so we're going to do it again this month. Last month was Polarthon, and I picked a lot of books for that, and I read them all, which is a good thing. I actually completed all of my February TBR, so that's a really good thing, and I read them all in a week, at least my 5 that I picked for Polarthon, so that's a very good thing. I was very surprised about that. And yeah, I do have a few rule changes that I did make to this game because some things weren't really working out, or I wanted to change them up a bit. So there are a few rule changes. So I guess we can get to the first spin, the rules, and the rule changes. Okay, so let's start with the rules and rule changes. So I will start by spinning the cage, which is backwards. Okay. Let's fix that. Yes. Okay. So, I will spin the cage and get the bowl from it. And then, if it is on the board, then I will first figure out which row it's on and then pick up the prompt from that row. And if it is a B, then it will be horror, mystery, or thriller. If it's an I, it will be dystopian. If it's an N, it would normally be contemporary, but I don't read a lot of contemporary, so that's one of the things that I'm changing. If I land on N, it will now be a sci-fi. If I land on a G, it will be a fantasy, and if I land on an O, it will be a classic. The second thing I'm changing is that normally the free space is a nonfiction book. However, I don't always have nonfiction books that I want to read at the beginning of the month. So instead, instead of nonfiction, it will be just a book of my choice. And then I'll pick up nonfiction as I find them during the month. And I think that's pretty much all the rules. So we can go ahead and start with our first spin. And before we look at that, we can go ahead and put our piece on the free space. Okay, so now that you've sat through all those rules, now we can get to the book part. So the book that I picked was The Lost Hero by Riordan. I have read, I think, every other series that he's written. I know I can already hear people booing, but I haven't read this one. I skipped from, I think it's Percy Jackson to Trials of Apollo. I completely skipped over this series. So I'm going to go back now, because upon finishing Trials of Apollo, which I finished this month, I finished the series. After finishing that, looking back on it, apparently there were things in the first book that were completely unexplained if you don't read this one. So I was confused throughout the first book. This is why, because I didn't read the series. So we're going to go ahead and read this one this month as my first pick of March. Okay. Now we're going to look at the ball, and it is N35. So that is not on the board. So I will just pick from my prompts, and it is debut novel. So I have to read a debut novel. Since it was not on the board, I don't have to do any specific genre, just any debut novel. Next, for my debut novel, this one was kind of cheating. I did Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. The first book, Shadow and Bone, was Leigh Bardugo's debut novel, so I just kind of took that as debut series and picked up the next book. It's kind of cheating, but I really wanted to get to this one in March, because I like Shadow and Bone a lot. So we're going to do this one as my pick for debut novel. Okay? go for our second spin. And it is I-25. I-25 is also not on the board, so I will pick another. It is blue cover. Since it was not on the board, no specific genre, just a blue cover. Okay, so blue cover. For this, I picked House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This is, everybody has loved this book that I've seen. It's extremely popular. And I wasn't aware that my local library had it, and then I looked and they did. So this was actually just picked up today. And I'm very excited to read this. I can't wait. And from what I understand, it's about this person, I don't know what his job is, but he's assigned this mission to go to this orphanage of magical children to see if any of them are dangerous enough to destroy the world. That's really all I know, but I'm definitely excited to get to this one because of the plot. That just sounds super interesting. Yes, so House in the Cerulean Sea is my next pick for March, and I'm super excited about it. Okay, third. It is N39. So N39 is on the board. So I'll go ahead and put that on there. Okay, and that is on the second row. So I'll pick from there. And N is sci-fi. So a coin toss. So coin toss means that I will pick 2 books, in this case 2 sci-fi books, and then do heads or tails of one of the books, and then flip and see which one I get. So that'll be fun. Okay, so a sci-fi coin toss. Not sure how this is gonna go. So I picked the 2 books that I have to do the coin toss over are Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, last book in the Hunger Games. This is about, well, the first book is about a girl named Katniss who volunteers to go into the Hunger Games so that her sister doesn't have to. And the Hunger Games is a game where you have 2 children from every district that have to go and fight to the death until one of them remains. I loved both Catching Fire, which was on my January TBR. Yes, I loved Catching Fire in the Hunger Games, so this is a series that I want to finish. And then I have The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. The Knife of Never Letting Go was on my January TBR also, and this is the sequel. I really want to read it. The first book was about this boy named Todd who lives in this world where men can hear each other's thoughts because of a germ, and that germ also killed off all the women. And he has to go on a journey for a reason that is explained throughout the book. I loved it. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars, I don't remember. But I definitely want to pick up this one so I can finish the trilogy. Next is Monsters of Men, so if I like this one, which I'm sure I probably will, then I will pick up Monsters of Men. So now we have to do the coin toss. Let me see. Mockingjay is going to be heads. The Ask and the Answer is going to be tails. So that fell. I don't really know how to do this to show it on camera. Okay. So you're not really going to be able to see that too well, but it's heads. You're just going to have to trust me on that. Which means Mockingjay. This was actually the one that I wanted to read out of the 2. I wanted to read both of them, but I really want to finish this series because this is the last book, so this is the one that I wanted to read more. So, Mockingjay. I'm super excited for this one. I've wanted to finish the series ever since I read the first one. So, we're going to read this one, and I guess The Ask and the Answer, either maybe move it over to April or some month after that, but Guess I can put that back on my shelf. So, Mockingjay. Super excited for this one. Okay, 4th spin. Ooh, it's trying to get away. Okay, it is N45. We're getting lots of N's. There is no N45 on the board, so let's pull a prompt. Yellow cover. No specific genre, just a book with a yellow cover. Okay, so for yellow cover, I have a book that I've been wanting to get to for months. I think it was November, maybe October. City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. I read City of Ashes in, like, November. And I haven't picked this one up. I don't know why. I've been wanting to put it on my TBRs, but I guess I don't think any of the prompts so far really fit for this. But now, we're going to read it in March. Am I excited for this? Yes. It was a trilogy. And then I think there were 6 books in total, instead of just the 3. I'm super excited for this one. City of Bones, the first book, is about this girl named Clarissa, and she finds out that there's an entire world that she didn't know about. In her world, there are demons and angels and fairies and warlocks and all kinds of mythical creatures. And there are shadow hunters that have to kill off the demons so that the regular people can live in peace. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited for this. I loved the series. I read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. It was on my favorite books of It was my favorite book of 2020. So I'm super excited to read this one. Chain of Gold should have been the last book actually that I read from Cassandra Clare, but I read them out of order because Chain of Gold was the only one I knew about at the time, and then I just decided to start over and move forward. So we're gonna read City of Glass. I'm super excited. I love this book. Or the rest of the series, so super excited for this. And this will be my final spin. It is I-16. I-16 is also not on the board. So we will just pick. Ooh, okay. So a book with some form of contest. No specific genre, just a book with a contest. And lastly, for a book with a contest, I'm pretty sure that this counts. Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have been wanting to read this book for a while. Everyone seems to like Sarah J. Maas. It's floating around everywhere. So I figured might as well give it a try and see if I like it. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong about this, but I think that there's a coin toss that happens in this one that's like a monumental turn in the story. I think when I looked up a synopsis or a summary or whatever, they said something about a coin toss that led the character to make a certain decision. So it's all I really know that as to why it would be a book with a contest. But from what I understand, it's about this girl who takes care of her family. Her family's super poor, and she goes and does something, and because of that, a fairy comes and tells her that she has to come to the fairy court because of what she did. That's all I really know. But I love books with fairies, and actually any mythical creature, so I'm definitely super excited to read this one, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. There are some people that really love it, and some people that just absolutely hate it and don't like it at all. So I want to see where I stand on this. So this is going to be my last book, because yes, that has been all 6. So this will be my last book for March. Super excited for this one too. I'm super excited for everything on this list, so that's a good thing. I hope I can get through the TBR fast, and then move on to other books if I finish them all early. But yes, this one, last book. So that was my March TBingoR. I really hope that you enjoyed, because I'm super excited for all of these. Like I said, I did finish all of February's TBR, so you can go look at my in-depth thoughts in next week's February wrap-up. So you can go enjoy that when it's up. I'll put it in the description when I finish it. So, yes, and you can go look at that. But that has been my March TBR. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you plan on reading in March. So, with that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.